So Mega Man is finally coming back in 2027 with Mega Man Dual Override. And I think I speak for all fans of the Blue Bomber when I say it's about darn time. However, while classic Mega Man is great, there's another blue mechanized hero that deserves another shot in the spotlight. X. The X series was the first spin-off of the original Mega Man series, best known for how it upgraded the graphics and narrative depth of the franchise. Since its end with X8, fans have been begging for X9. But even after 11 years of hopeful waiting, we still haven't gotten it. So today, let's discuss what a 9th mainline Mega Man X game could look like. So why are folks so hungry for another X title? Well, it's because the series never really had a definitive end. See, Mega Man X centered on an ongoing conflict known as the Maverick Wars. Initiated by the Reploid Sigma, it was a huge battle that pitted freedom-seeking and sometimes malfunctioning Reploids against their human creators. It was up to X, Zero, and their team of Maverick Hunters to stop them. This premise made for a deep narrative about what it meant to be a robot and have free will. Compared to the classic series, this was way more serious, and as such, it easily captured the attention of fans. However, instead of having X8 end the war, it ends on this really ominous cliffhanger, one that you'd think would lead to another game. So I think X9 could serve as the final chapter of this series, showing us how this war ends. Now I get what you're thinking. If we don't know exactly how the Maverick Wars conclude, is this X9 pitch just gonna make one up? Well, no. Funny thing is, we actually do know how this war ends. See, the Mega Man Zero series takes place after the X series, and it gave us a lot of details on how X's story ends. It stated that Zero sealed himself because he was a progenitor of the Maverick virus, the illness that turned Reploids berserk and basically started the Maverick Wars. His wish was to be studied so X and his allies could find a cure. Eventually they did. It was called the Mother Elf, and with it, X was able to stop the Maverick Wars. However, there was still the issue of Reploids turning Maverick on their own. There were times where some would fight back simply because they wanted to be more than mere tools for humans. This was when Dr. Weil, the antagonist of the Zero series, appeared. He proposed something called Project El Paizo, a plan to use the Mother Elf to control all Reploids against their will. That way, none of them would ever turn on the humans again. X opposed this plan because he believed in the coexistence of Reploids and humans. Technology was so advanced at this point that mentally, many Reploids had some level of free will. Taking that away would be wrong. But Weil disagreed, so he resorted to doing something drastic to push his agenda. First, he corrupted the Mother Elf, turning it into the Dark Elf. Then he used it to control Reploids around the world, forcing them to fight each other. This got his fellow humans believing that these mechanical beings were too volatile to have free will, so Project El Paizo was approved. Weil got to work immediately and used Zero's body to create the ultimate weapon, Omega. He infused it with the Dark Elf and sent it out onto the battlefield. With that, X was forced to bring Zero back from his slumber in a new body and work with him to defeat Omega, Weil, and the Dark Elf. This whole conflict was dubbed the Elf Wars, and though it only lasted 4 years, it led to the death of 90% of the Reploid population and 60% of the human population. That is absolutely insane. But get this, to this day, we still have yet to see a game about this event. The most we got was a quick page of this battle within the Mega Man Archie comics, which sadly isn't canon. So, to me, it just makes sense to have X9 close the Maverick Wars and be centered on this war. Just like the past games in the series, the opening scene could give us a quick recap of the state of the world. It could mention how Zero sealed himself to have the Maverick virus studied, and that X and his allies managed to use his data to create the Mother Elf. The first level could be X ending the Maverick Wars with the Elf. Since we already spent so many games in that conflict, I don't see a reason to have X9 focus on it too much. Also, though he isn't mentioned in Mega Man Zero, I think the player should be able to use Axel just like in X8. He's one of X's strongest allies. With Zero gone, it'd only make sense for him to be part of the Elf Wars too. After the opening mission, we could be introduced to Weil. I think it'd be cool to have him be our operator. He could send you to fight Maverick bosses that he secretly corrupted without you knowing it. This could lead to a big twist in the middle of the game, where he reveals his true plan along with Omega. After the reveal, we get a little time skip. Then the second half of the game could begin with X reviving Zero in an alternate body. Then the player could take on the rest of the bosses with him, X, and Axel, thus leading to a final boss fight with Omega and Weil. With what we know about the Elf Wars, that wouldn't only make for a dope story, but it would finally bridge the huge gap between the Mega Man X timeline and Mega Man Zero timeline. As for how it'd play, to be honest, I don't think the team should diverge from the 2D side-scrolling action style of the old games. Of course, it should get a more modern coat of paint like Mega Man Dual Override, but the in-game mechanics should predominantly stay the same. Since the Mother Elf would be a prominent part of the story, the team could add a mechanic geared towards Cyber Elves. It could be similar to Mega Man Zero and boost some of his stats. maybe even give him some new moves. Overall though, if Capcom is serious about bringing Mega Man back, X9 is a must. Or at the very least, they can follow up with what they were doing with Maverick Hunter X and remake the whole series. Then we can get our definitive end to the series. Either way, as we can see, the story for the ending is already there. It's just waiting to get written. But let me know how you guys are feeling about this Mega Man renaissance. Do you also think we need an X9? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, thanks for watching, and be sure to stay tuned on GameRant.com for more gaming videos just like this one.